What's going on, y'all? Aurel Moody here. Super excited about this week's AMA. I missed y'all last week, so I'm super excited to be back this week with our AMA. For those of you who've been to AMAs before, you know how they work. For those of you who've not been to an AMA before, I'll give you a quick breakdown. The way that this session works is this is for you to get any questions that you have answered. So questions about how to use the tool. Maybe you have a speaking engagement coming up and you're not sure what to do. Maybe you just had a speaking engagement. Maybe you need to get more speaking engagements. So any questions that you have whatsoever, nothing is off limits. If I can answer it, I will. If I can't answer it, I will be very honest. But the good news is we have such a wide variety of smart, wise, knowledgeable, experiential people that if I can't get it, someone in the community can. So as you continue to use Talkadot, if you haven't jumped into our community feature yet, when you log into your account, there's a community button on the top right-hand corner. Make sure to click on it. Go over to the community. We have so much great conversations and interactions. So if you have any questions, how abouts, yeah, buts, what ifs, it's a wonderful place to post those. So the way that this works is that on the bottom of your Zoom, there's something called reactions. When you click on reaction, there's a raise hand feature, and it looks like that. If you have a specific question, go ahead and raise your hand, and then we will go through those questions in the order in which you raise it. A lot of people like to join these sessions, not with a specific question, but just to hear what are the questions other people are asking. And that's a very smart thing to do, because if you constantly keep your finger on the pulse of what's happening in the speaking industry, only good things will happen for you. So I am going to bring in my Fathom recorder so that Marissa doesn't hate me after this session. Recorder joining, wonderful. Almost forgot and would have hated myself. All right, Fathom's in. Let's jump in with Samantha.
Good morning.
Good
Thank
morning.
you. I guess I'll lower my hand now. So I have a question that I couldn't figure out from
Mm.
the fabulous videos that you're doing, and I went through all of them on YouTube. This one stumped me. So
Yes.
it or what OCD, whatever you want to call me. It's bothering me that I have a few of these random like random not
Like
posts.
stray responses?
Yes, and I don't know where they
Yes.
go because I don't know if there's a way to tell because the
Yes.
code might be different. Like I can share my screen if you want, but the
Yes.
date is not the date and the code that they use are not like near the ones that I just did, the talk that I just did. Is
Perfect.
that
Would you mind sharing your screen and we can look at it? I'll show you how I kind of troubleshoot this and match things up on my side, and this
okay?
might be helpful. Okay, great. So give me an example of one of the,
Like this one right here at the top
yep.
where it says culture.
Okay, great.
Sorry,
So
here.
the first thing that I do is I look at what was the very last talk that I gave or the closest to it. So out
Yeah.
of curiosity, there's one on that came before it for culture, but that was in February. Um,
Yeah.
and then there's one that comes after it. Well, that's curate. Never mind.
Yeah.
That's different. Okay, great. So here's what I do. Click on the stray response. Yeah, so
Just
just
here.
click. No, not there on like where that'll when you click on the blue button, it edits it. But if you click on like the word culture specifically, click on
Okay.
the word, yeah, the word culture. So the first thing that I'm doing is seeing is there anything in how they responded, like in the
Right.
testimonial or feedback, that might give me a clue. In this particular case, we
No.
don't know.
If I
So yep.
if is there a way to see their email? Because then I could probably figure it out.
Yeah, so typically if somebody is responded with the attendee testimonial or the attendee feedback,
Mm.
that's where I would typically be able to tell you to click on the three dots and view
Okay.
testimonial data, and then you'd be able to see it. Now, this is the question that I have for you. If you go back to your home screen, is it possible that that was a test in any way? Because that person gave the quantitative data, but none of the qualitative data. Is there any chance that you were testing out your feedback and you used the code culture in April? Is that on the table or no?
Um, 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 I don't. think
Okay,
so.
no problem.
I can
This
just
is
word it into one of these.
Yeah, so what I would do in that particular case is if I'm looking at that and I can't see, there's no attendee testimonial data, no that. I'm just looking at my most recent talk, which is that February 7th one, and
Yeah.
I'm just going to click on that one first on the left-hand corner.
Okay,
Do
I'm going to do it to February 6th because I think that this one on February
Mhm.
7th, that's one. If I merge this one, April
Yep.
22nd, with February 7th, because this
Yes.
is random as well, can I then figure out and merge this one with
Yeah,
February
click
6th?
on the February 7th one.
Okay.
Okay, you see those three dots next to that
Yeah.
statistic?
Yeah.
If you click on those three dots and go view testimonial data, does
Okay.
this give you any sense?
Yeah, I know
Like,
what that one is.
okay, great. So was that from the February 6th one?
Um, no.
Where did that one you just
This
saw?
was a virtual, February 7th was a virtual training that I did. What was
Ah,
February 6th? Wait a second. What was February 6th?
yep.
No, February 6th was a Rotary and this was an online training. So they were different.
They were set. So you did one on the 6th, one on the 7th. Yep.
Yeah.
So the best bet logically is if you did an online training, did they record that online training?
Yes. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I get you. Yeah, you're right. This probably does go into February 7th.
Yes. February, it most likely will go to February 7th because an online recording typically yields these stray responses
Okay.
more than an in-person one.
Okay.
So since you did one on the 6th and 7th, if I was a guessing man, I would guess that you could merge the one from the 22nd into the
Yeah.
7th,
Okay.
and that typically is your best bet.
Okay.
If you know that a presentation will be recorded, are you familiar with the lock the code function? I'm going to
Mm,
show it to you. You don't
it's
have to worry.
I know the phrase, but if you ask me to explain it, I don't know it that well.
I'm gonna show you what to do. Okay, so click on those three dots where your mouse is right now.
This one, because I want
Yep.
to merge it to I would like to merge 22nd to the 7th, not the other way around. Okay.
The 20, oh, right. Okay. So before you do what I'm about to share with you, the locker code, here's how you merge them. Click on the checkbox next to February 7th on the left-hand side. So click that and then click the April 22nd on the left-hand side, that checkbox.
Yeah.
And then click here to merge. Yep, click that right there. And then click confirm. And then it just pushed it into the February 7th one.
Wow,
Okay.
that was super not hard. Okay.
Yeah. So the way to remember the merge functionality is that the first one that you click on is
Okay.
what things will merge into.
Okay.
Yep. So if you ever have stray responses, click on it, and then hit merge, and then they go boop into one.
Thank you.
Now, I want to show you what the locker code is
Oh.
just so you're aware of this if you need to use it in the future. So I wouldn't recommend locking culture because it seems like you use that code over and over.
Mhm.
But if you see where it says culture and it has the three dots next to it,
Yeah.
click on that and then go down to edit event. And then you see where it says advanced settings with that drop down caret on the bottom. So click on that. And then this opens up our locker code feature. So if you click where it says select an offer code and it has the little drop down caret on the bottom left.
Oh, right here. Okay.
Yep, click on that. Now, if I'm gonna just show you how to do it and then how to undo it. So click culture in this case,
Okay.
right?
Just
And then you see where it
recently.
says save changes if you scroll
Yeah.
down a little bit
See,
more.
just only down
Yeah.
now. There said, look,
I
Yep.
can see that.
people.
Okay, great. So go ahead and click save changes.
Okay.
Now you see how there's a
Oh,
little
yeah.
lock function next to the
Yeah.
word culture.
Yeah.
So moving forward, whenever someone gives feedback and uses the word culture, it's not going to randomly go into stray places. It's going to go directly into that report. Now, this is the important feature because we built this feature specifically for people who do online presentations that are recorded and they're going to get data that comes in a week
Yes.
later, a month later. This is the key. You cannot reuse the word culture for
Okay.
any other speaking engagement because
Okay.
any speaking engagement that you give will then with that code will go into that one report. So
Okay.
typically when you're doing something that's recorded, you want to use a unique code just for that one. So you
Okay.
might make it,
Like,
people or
yeah, or online or
online. Yeah,
whatever.
something that's
Okay.
like that's a burner word that I'm going to use just for that. And then whenever someone watches the recording and gives you feedback, you won't get straight responses. It'll go into that one report.
That's brilliant. Okay. That is
Yep.
so helpful. Thank you.
You got it. All
Do you
right.
want
I'm
to show
glad
me
we
how
got
to
to walk
undo
through
it?
this. Yeah. So click on the three dots. Yeah, I'm glad you remembered. Click on edit event, go to advanced settings, and then scroll down. You see it says clear code.
Yeah.
Hit clear code, and then hit confirm, and then save changes,
Okay. This is great.
and
Thank
then
you.
you're good to go.
Okay. Okay. I get it. Yeah. And I'll hopefully all those people that saw my rates that I'm getting for these chambers and rotaries and stuff, those will end up in the future being more zeros on the ends for how
Way
much
more
I'm
zeros.
getting.
By the way, the fact that you're even getting paid at chambers, I think is amazing, and rotaries, because
Okay.
typically I've always looked at those as biz dev where they don't pay. So
Mhm.
the fact that you are even getting paid, first of all, you're getting paid basically to do biz dev presentations, which to me,
Mhm.
that's a huge win-win. Because normally when I've done those, I've never gotten paid. So
Oh,
shout out to
good.
you.
Well, thank you. What I did is Nikki Roush has a thing where she teaches, and I just ask if they have an honorarium. And oftentimes they'll say no. Well, excuse me, or they don't know. And then I'll say, oh, will you check? And that's great if you do. And they'll come back and say that they do. Or they'll, like if it's a local chamber, they've done a trade for membership for doing workshops and presentations. But
That's right.
that's
Yeah.
just like, do you have an honorarium? Like it's a
Yeah.
muscle I'm working on asking for.
It's a great muscle to flex. There are also, by the way, I've actually I've done a lot with, and this is a sidebar, and then we'll go back to the questions. I've done a lot with workforce, chambers and workforce. What I found is the smaller the chamber, the more they have to pay, which seems counterintuitive. The
Hmm.
bigger the chamber, the less they have to pay. And the reason why is like I've done stuff for like small town chambers, and I'll get like $4,000, $5,000 to speak at those
Wow.
because it's harder for them to attract speakers, right?
Mm.
Where if you're speaking at like what city do you live in? What town, city?
Hood River, Oregon.
In Oregon, right? So I
Yeah.
imagine like, and I don't know if this is true, like the Portland, Oregon one, they may be like, we could get Nike, I don't know, or whomever.
Right.
Like, we don't need you. Like,
Right.
it's the same reason why smaller colleges pay more than bigger colleges because
Mm.
a college like Harvard will go, we've got a alumni base we'll tap into. But
Mm.
Cossatot Community College in Arkansas, they need to pay for speakers to come in because they don't have the same alumni network. So it is very counterintuitive in many
Yeah.
ways. But that's what I found. The smaller chambers have paid me thousands,
Wow.
and the bigger ones, and bigger is a very subjective term. Like the Syracuse chamber, which I'm a part of, they're considered a bigger one. But I've spoken at like the Oswego chamber, which is a smaller one, and I got paid, or the Watkins Glen one, which these words probably mean nothing to you from Oregon, but they're just smaller towns basically, and they have paid.
Mm.
And that's kind of my reference point to it. So FYI.
Thank you very, very much.
You're welcome.
We
Barbara,
merge. I'm going crazy. I'm going to crazy merge
merge.
right now.
Did you
Okay.
have a question about what Samantha was saying, or was it a
Yes,
separate question?
yes, I
Okay.
did. The question was, if you lock it, then will you know when a new person, puts a comment, whatever, can you identify when that comment was entered? Will
Yeah,
it
so
date it?
what you'll see is you won't get like an email notification or any notification that a new response is. It is up to the user to say like, oh, I had about 10 responses and now I have 12. And you'll see the newest response when you download your CSV file, which it is actually a really good point here. Let me just show you. Let me show my screen. Oops. Do, do, do. Okay. So when you have like a lock a code feature, right? So I'll have 33 responses for this one. If this number goes up, I'm not going to get an alert because it might drive some people batty. Like if they're getting like, ding, 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 a lot of times. So what you can do is, oops, go back to your home screen here. And then click here, and then you can like download your leads, for example. And then when you download those, if you cared about the order they came in, sometimes I just look through the responses. But if you cared about the order, you can see the created date right here on column A. So you can see the date and the time that they were created. Cool. Awesome. All right, Nilu, what's up?
As per usual, I have multiple questions. So
I love your multiple questions as per usual.
okay. So one is very quick. It's based on what Samantha just so I'm not quite sure about all these codes. So can we cannot use the same code, right?
Yes, 100% you can use the same code.
You can use the same code.
Yeah. So for example, if I like in Samantha's case, she uses the word culture. You create one slide with the word culture on it, and you can use it on Monday, you can use it on Tuesday, you can use it on Wednesday, and it'll separate your answers based upon date, but still using that same code. So you can create your slide once, and as long as you're giving away the same giveaway and you don't want to change any of the questions, you could use that one slide in perpetuity and never have to create another one. The only time you want to change the code is if you're giving away a different bonus, because the code tells our system what bonus to give away. So if you want to give away, or if you want to ask different questions. So let's say like for this group, oh, I don't want to ask if I'm inspiring. I want to ask if I'm practical, and I need a different question flow, then you would want to change the code. But other than that, you can use the same one over and over and over and over.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you. And then two, what is the appropriate amount of time so you've already followed up warm leads. What's an appropriate time to follow up with your follow-up?
If someone is a booking lead, I'm looking at typically a 5-step email sequence that usually waits between 2 to 4 days between each email. After the 5th email is typically when I'm going to stop. Because if I email you 5 times and you don't respond, A, it's going to your spam and you've never seen it. B, you've seen it, but you've said, not yet, I'll get to it later. Or 3, you're avoiding me, right? So if it's one of those 3 after the 5th one, I very easily go, this person now goes on to my, like, I'll message them every once a month, or, I'll throw them on my newsletter, and whatever the frequency of your newsletter is what they get. But I would recommend 2 to 4 days in between emails, doing a 5 email sequence. And we have a document that goes over the 5 email sequence that I recommend. So I don't know if you've seen that, but I'm happy to share that with you if that would be helpful.
That would be so helpful. Yes.
Yeah, it is. I'll find it in the hold on. Email. Doop. 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 In the chat. You
Perfect.
see that?
Thanks.
Yep. There you go. Yeah, so
Okay.
that's the kind of email I recommend sending. Obviously, everyone's going to need a different type of email, and who their message. So I don't like just copy and paste it like as like gospel. Use it as a framework, but then you could use that sequence. It's really effective. It works really well.
Okay. Thank you so much. And my last
Yeah.
question is, this is a very open-ended question. I don't actually know what to ask about this, but it's simply around like sponsorships. How do you start the conversation? If it's come up, what do you do? How does it work? All of those.
When you say sponsorship, do you mean like businesses?
Yes, correct.
Okay. Do you have people that have expressed interest, or do you look to get the interest?
I've had it like, they're like, oh, we can also be a sponsor. And then I'm not sure how to have that combo.
Yeah. So the best way so the term sponsorship for speakers, like, so I've had sponsors for speaking tours that I've done where a funding agent paid for me to go speak to people for either free or low cost, right? And they subsidize the difference. And then I would get it in front of them. Typically, the conversation is a lot about putting the ball in their court, because if they want to sponsor you, they have a vision of what they want to achieve. So the first thing we're asking is, well, what would a successful sponsorship look like to you? Right? So that's going to, like, if it's inbound or the conversation started, I want to know what success looks like to them. How would they like to be integrated? So what does integration in my talk look like? Do you want talking notes? Do you want signage? You want to find out what action are they trying to drive. So when I say what action are they trying to drive, are they trying to get signups? Are they trying to get brand awareness? Are they trying to get enrollments? Are they trying to get purchases? Are they trying to get it's 1,000 different things they could see as success. You want to know what they define as what call to action, because then that might also inform where and how you integrate them. For example, I had a credit union sponsor me to go speak at a bunch of different events in the community, right? So they bought like tens of thousands of my book. We gave the book out for free, and they were trying to get people to sign up for accounts. That was their main thing. So they gave away a thing where if you signed up for an account at the session, they would give you $25 in your account, basically. So imagine basically sign up for a free account, get $25. So our whole thing was to drive account signups and talking about why that was important. So we basically integrated like a financial literacy component into my presentation, and that's what led to it. And then they were giving away a scholarship as well. So then we were talking about why they should apply for the scholarship. So that was success for them. So that's where I would start the conversation with from my past experience. Other people may have other suggestions, but what does success look like? What's your call to action? What's the CTA the call to action? Yeah. What is it that you want them to take? And then you go back and forth from there. It's not like you need to have what's the word I'm looking for? You don't have to have a package available and you go, here's my sponsorship package. Which is one do you want? You want to go, what does it look like? Why do you want to even do this in the first place? Who are you trying to reach? What budget do you have allocated? And then it's a lot of back and forth, playing ball, that's maybe a longer answer than you wanted, but hopefully thorough enough.
No, so they don't pay you directly. They pay the organization.
So a good question. Yes and yes. It depends, right? So for example, I worked with a foundation. I had one sponsor that was a foundation. It was the Coleman Foundation. Since they were a foundation, they couldn't pay me directly because I'm a for-profit business. So they had to pay our client, who was a nonprofit, and then the nonprofit would pay us, right? So that's in the world of a foundation. But if you're dealing with a private company, they can pay you with no problem whatsoever. Unless you are a nonprofit or have nonprofit status, then a foundation can give their money to you. So if it's a foundation, they typically need to give it to a nonprofit so that they're doing their. Now, a way around that is you get what's called a pass-through agent, which is a nonprofit who basically gets all of the money and then basically subcontracts you to do the work. And then they'll keep like 5 to 10% of the total amount as their pass-through fee. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not giving you legal advice here. So talk to a lawyer who's more knowledgeable about legality than I am. But yeah, that's a little like, it's a way to do it and you want to make sure you're doing it correctly. But if it's a private company, they pay you and then you provide the services to your organization at a discount. Or, and again, there's so many variables here, you can provide it at a discounted or free rate, or you can charge them whatever you charge them and you're just getting bonus money from your sponsor. So it really all depends on what their goals are.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Okay. Tell me at any point, y'all, I like to give thorough responses because I give responses the way I wish somebody would answer me. But I also realize sometimes y'all could be like, all right, buddy, keep it moving. So you won't offend me. Like the other day I was talking to Will Moreland and he said, you're not invited to my daughter's wedding. He said, you can't come. You don't know my family like that. And I said, you know what? I'm not hurt. I want to see you be happy. You the daddy getting married here. I'm here for you. It doesn't hurt my feelings. That never happened. I'm just, congratulations, Will, on your daughter getting married. I saw that. I'm just giving you your flowers. Robin.
Hello. You, I think, inadvertently answered one of my questions about, because when I wanted to download the Excel spreadsheet of leads for a particular speech, I didn't know how to do that. And I think just quickly when you were illustrating something, it says 3 dots on the right.
That's correct. Yeah. So on any particular event, I'll just redo it just so you see it. So if you ever want to download your data for a particular event, right? So I just spoke here on, I gotta merge mine together right now in front of you. So I'm just merging these because I realized I had two that were stray. But I just click here on actions. And if I want to download my testimonials, I click download testimonials. That's one download, right? So if I download testimonials, that'll allow me to see, if I asked this question, this is what their answer was. And if they had given me their name or title, I would see that there. If I want to download just my leads, I would click download leads. Well, I don't have any leads for this particular talk because that was a college talk. So let's go here where I have leads. So I go download leads. And then it'll tell me the name, the talk title, the email of the person, and all of, so whether I contacted them or not, the warmth level, if it's a hot lead, or, did they just express regular interest? Did they email in? Oh, they refer lead. So that's basically how you do it. You just go to these three dots and you get testimonials and leads.
All right, perfect. Because I was going up to the my leads and thinking like, why do I have to download the whole thing all the time? Okay, great.
Yeah, that's the event specific one.
Yeah. Terrific. My other question is there a way to give Robin feedback at the top of the slide ever, or do we have to just do that on our own?
Hold on. I think I know what you're saying.
So when I download the slide, it already says give Robin feedback. But if I don't want it to say that, I wanted to say something different. What I've been doing is like blocking it out. But is there a way to change it?
Yeah. So you're talking about this part right here.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah. Okay. So right now the answer is no.
Okay.
However, we are building in customizations for that until those customizations are live. And because that's one of the biggest pieces of feedback that we've gotten from all of you. I want more customization. I want to be able to change this and I can't change that. So we are working on that actively. So we're going to release customization in kind of wavelengths. So as of now, the answer is you would want to use, are you familiar with the Canva template that's right here? Yeah.
Okay. No, I didn't know it was right there, but I didn't know it had a Canva. Okay, cool. That's
Yep.
good.
So if you click on this was a Canva template that we created like kind of a while ago, actually. So it actually has our old template of our, because we've updated this many times since this, and ultimately we found out that the more simplified slide actually performs better. This was actually our original slide. So it has like the let's stay in touch, and we realized that kind of clouded it a little bit. But basically you can go into, use this template in Canva, and then you can delete all of this, change this, add that. So you at least have this that you can do it. Or if you're like me, you could just download it and then throw it into your PowerPoint, put a black box.
That's what I've been doing.
That's what I imagine. So there's no way to do that simply within our tool yet, but it's coming.
Got it. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other question, Robin? Okay.
No.
Do me a favor. When you talk to Sharon from your chapter, tell her I'm so embarrassed. Do you know Sharon Guy? G-A-I?
New York City?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Huh.
Unless I'm wrong.
What did you do to her? But the name is familiar.
Yeah, and then who was the other gentleman from New York City? I made such an embarrassing move, and I'm so embarrassed by it. I spoke in New York City on Friday, and every single part of my brain, I swear to you, thought Friday was May 5th. Every single part of my brain. For those of you who don't know, May 5th was Sunday. Cinco de Mayo was on Sunday. I was convinced in my brain, I had posted in the Talkadot community, I'm speaking here on May 5th. So if anybody wants to come in and see me speak and then like hang out with me afterwards and we can talk, I'm open to it. And she was like, yeah, let's do that. I'm down for that. And then she invited someone else from the New York City chapter. And I said, cool. And I moved on from it mentally. And then I went there and spoke, and I messaged her like, hey, I'm here. I don't see you yet. She's like, yeah, I look forward to seeing you like on Sunday. And I was like, oh no. Oh no, it was horrible. Anyway, so it was very embarrassing. I'm sharing that with you. So I'll find the name of the other person.
Okay. I'm sure they will not forgive you, but that's okay.
Yeah. No, I am human and fallible. Only if I was as perfect as Tom Krigglestein's hair, then my life would be so much better.
Nothing is as perfect as Tom Krigglestein's hair.
Yeah, there's only one thing perfect in this world, and it's Tom's hair. Okay, Priscilla, what's going on?
But not to get the notes.
Hi, I think this is quite a basic question, but I went through at the beginning where it asked me if I wanted to add a file for like my giveaway.
Yep.
But I didn't have one at the time, but I just don't know how to go back to it.
Got you. That's a wonderful question and a very simple one to answer, and I got your back. Okay, so you're talking about this section over here, right?
Mhm.
So all you want to do is wherever is that code, just click on these three dots right here and go
Yeah.
to edit code right there.
Mhm.
And then when you go on edit, it'll bring you back to your setup wizard. And then
Mhm.
on step 3, that's where you can either, I'll just X this out so you can see it. So you can either type in a link here, like
Mhm.
arelmoody.com/bonus, or you can upload a file by clicking that up arrow.
Mhm.
And then let me just, I gotta re-download that thing. 19 groups. Ugh. Did I delete it from my computer? Okay. I deleted that file from my computer, so I'm gonna have to find it. Just for demonstration purposes, I'm just gonna put a random screenshot image here. So I could just upload that. And then once that is done doing its thing, I click next and then preview feedback flow, and then go to looks good, download my slide, and then I can download this slide here, and it'll now have your bonus connected to the code there.
Okay, so I need to not just upload it. I need to go through the end and like it will
Correct.
change the code. Got it.
Yeah, and when you hit edit code and then put whatever you're putting here and then go next preview and then looks good download, that kind of like it's like
Cement.
imagine like a ring and someone pouring wax like it's back in the day and it goes, I shall now put my seal of approval on said letter. It's the same
Right.
thing. Yeah.
Wonderful. I will have that audio impression whenever.
You'll never forget it now. I have stamped my approval on thee. I shall send you out on bird and carrier pigeon. Okay,
Thank
I'm gonna
you.
stop. Dr. Will, what's going on? Wait, Samantha, did your hand go up
was
from
before me? Yeah, Samantha was before me.
Okay, Samantha had went previously. I thought her hand never went down. I'm sorry, Samantha. I apologize.
I can wait and ask. I already asked one, so I can wait till Mr. Merlin asks his.
No,
You
you
can-
don't understand, Dr. Will. He's too gentlemanly. He'll never let that fly. He'll be like a row. What are you doing?
Okay, very quick. This is just a quick review. How do we change those, the insightful those 4?
Yep.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for finishing my brain thoughts this morning. I couldn't even get the
Yeah.
words out.
I got you. So the same thing. So either are you talking about creating or editing?
I guess, well, if
I'll go through both.
Yeah, I was gonna say probably creating one because I don't need to I don't need to do an old one.
Yeah, so you just click this button that says add another Talkadot code here. And then you go through this one. Do you want to collect emails or not? You create the code. I'm going to put hospitality and probably have spelled that wrong. And then test for Samantha. This is just for me. No one sees this part here. Give away whatever code you want to give away. And then when you click next, step 4 is where you make the changes. So right here was a Wells Talk, actionable, engaging, interactive, inspiring. If I don't want inspiring, maybe I want, practical. I can put practical. If I don't want actionable, maybe I can put memorable. So wherever I make the changes here, these will affect the emoji questions. And then if you ever want to edit one, like let's say you did a presentation, you just click on the 3 dots and go to edit code and then click next on the bottom here, and then it goes same to that exact same place there, and then you can just click and move around. So these are the emoji questions, and you just change whatever you want there.
So if you wanted the use case for changing a code that's already been out there is that if, for example, I'm doing webinars each month and I want to change the feedback questions, that's where your second example would be most applicable?
Yeah, so typically, so yes, it's different for each person, but that's an example of like, oh, I've locked a code and now I want to change it because it's changing. But typically it's because you've created a slide for a presentation that's about to come up. And as you think about it, you're like, you know what, this isn't the right set of questions. If you're like me, which you may not be because you may be a much better speaker than I am, I make changes up until the last minute before I speak. On my way to my speaking engagement, I'm editing my presentation in my head. So I've had situations where I've built a presentation and then I go, I'm going a completely different direction. So if I'm going in a different direction, the questions may not reflect the new direction I'm in. So I can change them right before a presentation and still keep my slide the same, like my code, like hospitality in that case, but I can then change like, this is a better question. And so that's typically where people would use it if you're like one of the speakers like me that are making last minute changes up until the wire. Cool. All right. Thank you. Dr. Will.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Question for you. And it may not be a question if this is not true. The template that you're showing us, is that a template or is that your actual Talkadot page that you're showing?
When you say template, which
When
are you
when
referring?
you just pull up and you start doing examples, is that your actual Talkadot or is that a template that you're using?
Oh, you're talking about this?
No, just all of this right here. Is this yours or just a template?
No, this is my Talkadot account.
Okay, then if it is yours, can you scroll up a little bit
Yes.
or scroll down?
Okay.
Okay, right here in your subject titles, are you doing mainly one or two different presentations, but you're naming them different things, or are these different presentations that you do?
Yeah, great question. Great question. I have like, so for example, this one right here, I did a custom presentation. I tend to fall into a category where I have a lot of clients who go, could you do this for me? Or could you do that for me? Like San Bernardino County, for example, I've worked with them for like, I don't know, 10 years, right? So a lot of times they don't want me to do the same presentation. So they'll ask me to do something new. So one of the reasons why this one right here, this isn't actually, that's not real. I was just editing one of my presentations to share someone and I never changed it. This is a mastermind group that I speak to. So I run that mastermind and we do topics like once a quarter. So I do something new with them every single time. So I have a lot of different titles just because of how I've run my speaking. Some people have like 3 talks and they just do 3 talks and that's all they do. But I typically have like my base talks that I book first. And then when I'm reworking with people, I'll create new stuff for them. I don't necessarily recommend that, by the way. I don't necessarily recommend it, but that's what I do.
And then I just saw, and so even when you do your own mastermind, you're using Talkadot to get feedback there as well.
Correct. When I do my own mastermind, I'm getting feedback specifically for 2 reasons. Number 1, is this content landing? What do you want to learn next? That's typically what's most important for me because with it being a mastermind and I'm doing new content always, I'm always curious, like, am I moving in the right direction? So I'm looking more, I'm not really looking for leads. That's not important to me. I'm looking more for, am I moving my profound mastermind in the right direction? And what else do you want to know about? And that's one of my additional questions that I ask, like, what other topics would you like me to cover in the future? And the more I get patterns, the more I know what to build next. And then the fun thing about what people tell you they want is I could have 20 people tell me they want something on like, I don't know, marriage. I'm just making that up. And then I could do a presentation on marriage. And then everyone's like, why the heck you do a presentation on marriage? That don't make no sense. And I'm like, cause y'all asked for it. Cause sometimes, you know, it's like the whole time, I don't know, whatever the dude's name is, people would ask for a quicker horse. They didn't know they wanted a car. It's that kind of thing.
Got it. Appreciate you, man.
Yeah. Cyrus, did you have a question about what we were just talking about? I saw your hand go up a couple times. So everything you're saying, only you can hear? Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
No, it was another question, but I appreciate it. I was like listening and processing, but yeah, no, it was a different question.
Okay, cool. All right, so I'll come back to you. I'll go to Lee first and then come back to you there.
Hey there.
What's up?
Hey. So can you please clarify, and I know we've talked about this, but the difference between booking and referrals?
Yeah, 100%.
Awesome.
So let me pull this up and share. Okay. So when you go over to the My Lead section on the upper right-hand corner, you're going to see a booking and you're going to see a referral. Okay. So let me pull up this because this actually might help explain it a little easier. Let's just do that one. Doop, 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 doop. Okay. Do you book paid speakers for events?
Mhm.
If they say yes, and then they say, yes, I'd like to book you for a future speaking engagement, that person goes into the booking category. So you want to treat all of these people as I have expressed interest in potentially booking you. So when you reach out to them, you want to say, hey, I wanted to see what that interest level was. Now, this is the thing to keep in mind with all follow-up for booking, which philosophically is important. Someone expresses interest to book you to speak. It does not guarantee that they can sign a contract today, right? So you want to get a sense of, do they have something hot pressing now, or are they giving you a signal that says, I'm someone who will eventually book you, and you need to suss out, is that like a 6 month from now, 1 year from now, 3 months from now, or is that like a right now? For the people who say, do you book speakers? They say no, but I know someone who does. And then we go, great, can I reach out to you about that person? And they give you their contact information. They go into the referral category. So these are the people who are saying, I don't want to book you personally, but I know people who do, and I might be willing to introduce you to them. So you want to reach out to the referral people as, hey, you mentioned that you know people who book speakers. I'd love to see if there was a way to introduce me. Could you tell me more? Blah, 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 blah. And again, you want to suss out, are they like, yeah, I'm an assistant director, my executive director needs this, I'm going to become your champion? Or are they like, I generally know people who book speaking engagements, and like, if I think of something that you might be a fit for, I want you to know that I'm thinking of you. And then you can then nurture them according to what their interest level is.
Perfect. Thank you.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
See you next time.
All right. I'll see you. What's up, Mr. No Sweat himself, Anthony? You're muted, brother.
All right. Yes. Okay. Thanks. Thanks for putting this on. This helps out a whole lot.
Of course.
My question was, I was speaking with someone, I believe it was Jess, and I created a media kit on Canva,
Mhm.
and I was trying to, but unto my knowledge, I realized that people are able to go in and edit that media kit.
Okay.
And I need to stop that. So I need to try to download that where I can also put that in my Talkadot.
Did you download it as a PDF?
I thought I did when after I created it, gives you the option to do that.
Okay, so can you share your screen?
Didn't.
Can you share your Canva? So I am not a Canva expert, so I am going to do this in the way that I believe you should do it. If this doesn't work, I would recommend jumping into the Canva community or looking on Canva. I think I can solve this problem quickly for you, but in the off chance that this is above my pay grade, I will let you know, and I'll probably pass you over to Michael Pope Jr., who is a Canva expert. Michael Pope did not know that he was going to be awarded for things, but I know he knows everything about technology. So if I can't solve it, let me tell you, Michael can.
So here it is here.
So go ahead and click on that.
Yeah, when you sent this over to me, it brought me to this exactly as you see right now, Rel. So I was able to like move things around. It brought it up as a file that I could edit. So my suggestion was to save it to Dropbox or something for sending it out, because I was like, obviously I'm not going to change it, but if you send it to the wrong person, you might end up with clown faces all over everything.
But you don't
Trust me.
send that page.
The internet is terrible. Yeah, they'll do terrible things. So do you see where it says share on the upper right hand corner?
This.
It's a white button with the like, yep, right
Yeah.
there. So click on that. And then you see where it says download?
Okay, yeah, I did that.
Yeah, so click on that. And then do you want to save it as a video or an MP3 or PDF? This is more like a PDF because it says file type MP4 video.
Well, I mean, the visual that you have now, where they can listen to my, you know, some of my talk and
Wait, is this a video or is this a document?
Well, this is a video here, and this is a testimonial I have here. And
yeah, it should still link to it. So you see where it says MP4 video? Just click on that on the scroll up a little bit there. Okay. Click on that. And then go PDF standard. This is going to be the best, and then click download. That's going to be the best for sharing things online. If you were to print this, you would want to get a print standard. So now it's in your downloads. So if you scroll all the way up to the top, there's a circle with your head. Yeah, right there with the downloads. Click on that and then click there. And then what I would do is this is now your document that you can share with people. If you mouse over your face where that video was, is that link active? No. Yeah, so that link's not active. This is where it's above my pay grade because I was under the assumption that that link would still be active and they would click on it and would shoot them to YouTube. I don't know if Michael Pope Jr. could jump in.
I got you covered.
Yeah.
So Anthony, go back to camera real quick. To your document that you had open, your media kit. So this time, click on share.
They're doing something. Oh, okay.
And you see where it says public view link? You see down in the lower to the right?
Yeah, it's right here.
Yep. So you could share that link in Talkadot. So click on that public view. And now click on create public view link. And then copy. And so open up this in a new, so paste this in a new tab and you'll see how it should work for everybody else. Let's click on the plus. No, so click on the plus at the top and let's add a new browser tab.
Where is the plus?
Go up a little bit more.
Higher.
Up, right there. Yep.
And then paste that in. And press enter. Press enter.
Okay.
So this is a non-editable version of it. So your video may still play here. You can.
That's not all I want to think. I couldn't change the volume on that the testimonial, but I was wondering about that. There was a lot of background noise, and I did this at an event, and so it's kind of drowns out her speaking about my talk and everything. But I was hoping it was clear enough to where they would understand it. Okay, great. That helps out a lot. Thank you.
So I would share this public link moving forward for people who you just want to share it with.
Right.
And then that might solve it. And then the PDF, I would share that PDF. Even though the videos don't play, like typically like kind of a one sheet or a EPK or whatever people might call this, doesn't necessarily need videos in it per se to play.
Okay, good. And I have the access. Would it be necessary to? I have access to Bitly. I've been able to use that to where I can customize the link. Would it be necessary to do that, or would that interrupt something?
It'll make the link better.
Yeah.
It'll make it shorter.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Awesome. Thank you.
Y'all didn't know we had a Canva white glove service on these Talkadot AMAs, but we got the whole shebang bang here, and it's mostly because of Michael Pope Jr. In racing, there's a car that goes in front of you, and then the car that goes behind it that just drafts. That's what I just did to Michael Pope. I just drafted on his skill set. So shout out to you for being part of the community, Michael. And I hope that's helpful, Anthony. Cool. This is great. These are wonderful questions. Anyone else? Cyrus, did you have a question earlier? I saw your hand go up.
Yes,
Cyrus?
yes, I did.
All right, we'll go Cyrus and then Coach B.
To circle back to your 5-step email sequence,
Mhm.
I clicked on the link that you had posted in chat, and it directed me to a Google Docs. It directed me to that link, but that link I was unable to. It didn't produce anything. Actually, it looked like a picture, graphic. The link did, so I wasn't able to get that 5-step email sequence.
Are you a pro user or a light user?
Pro.
Pro. It should.
Yeah, some guy, that light-skinned guy that really talked me into doing it. Yeah.
I thought you were a pro user. Yeah, you've been watching too many of my videos, I see. But you should be able to access it.
Well, if I can quickly interject, I went into Circle
Yeah.
and made sure he has access to everything. You may just need to log in again. Or if you go ahead and go to Pro Resources on the left-hand side, it might be easier if you're not using the link. But let me know if you're still having any issues there.
I will do. I'll sign out first and then go from there.
Yeah,
Alright,
and
sounds
for
great.
anyone who's interested, thank you very much, Marissa, for that, by the way.
Yeah, of course.
Thank you.
For anyone who is, and we have resources just for our pro users, so that's why I asked, and I'm so glad you that we didn't have a weird, uncomfortable moment there. But if you click on resources, you'll see that here. But right here where it says Talkadot Pro, this is where our pro specific resources are. So resources in general for people will go onto using Talkadot. Our pro resources, this is where we have like special things just for you. And the email templates are right here. If you ever wanted to just find it without like having the direct link, in the search bar here, you could just like put in email, for example, and then you'll see that's me right there, email template. So you can, if there's ever something like, oh, I want a contract template, or I want the list of the ASAE chapters, or I want to get my my speak release code. If you ever want to find any of those resources, you could just type whatever you're looking for here into the search, and it should pop up. If it doesn't pop up, just make a post in the Get Help, Need Help section, which is just share that with you. Right here, ask a question and get help. If you post it there, either myself, Jess, Marissa, someone from our team will jump on that and get you an answer right away.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, so Cyrus, let me
I
know
was
if you're
able to
able to access it now, or if.
Yeah, I believe I am accessing it right now.
Sweet beans.
Yes, rebook an email to send to your host. I think that was the top line on there. So yeah, we're good. Thank you.
Happy. All right, thank you for asking that. I want to get you covered. We'll go Coach B and then Rick, because I saw Coach's hand up first.
How everybody doing? I just want to say thank you. I was funneled to you through Speak to Freedom through Anthony's program.
Yeah.
And I want to. We had a session the other day when we were talking, because someone was asking about when to do the Talkadot, and I watched your video on how to implement it and how to use it and how to queue it up and things, and it worked. And he was saying, so Anthony was saying, yeah, I'm gonna have to try it then, because he said you two go back and forth on if it's gonna mess up the flow on how to do it, and it went very well. So I want to thank you for that. My question is, I also do I do stuff with youth, assemblies and rallies and things like that. Is there a way that I can adjust the QR code to where, because they're not going to book me for speaking, but I know that the administrators and things would like to have the feedback of how the students felt. So what would be the steps to doing it for them?
Absolutely, yeah. So I know exactly what you're talking about. I'm gonna show you how to do it real easy, real peasy, easy peasy. So when you go to add another Talkadot code right here, what you want to do is on this first question, which just says, do you want to collect leads or email addresses? Just click don't ask attendees for any personal information. When you do that, the survey flow that we have will not ask them for their name and email, and it won't ask them, do you book speakers? We are coming out with an update to our tool, because one of the pieces of feedback we got from our users is, well, I may not want to collect speaking leads, but I do want to collect email addresses. So we're going to add a third option so that you can do emails, but not speaking leads. So right now, when you're speaking to students, the best bet and the safest bet, and there's also another element, which again, I'm not a lawyer, I'm not giving any legal advice. Sometimes when students are under the age of 18, collecting their personal information may or may not be seen as a certain way. So it's a safer bet when you're dealing with a student assembly to just click this. And then what will happen is you'll get reports like, for example, this one. Oh, that's the reason why I don't have any leads for this one, because I turned off leads because this was a college audience. I'm not going to get any leads from a college audience in this particular case. So I can get all of my data to share with the host, like, hey, thanks for bringing me in to work with your student leaders. Here's what they had to say about it. So I can use the data as part of the land and expand technique. Are you familiar with the land and expand strategy?
No,
Have you heard me? Okay, I'll mention it very, very quickly. So let's say, I'll just give you my examples because this is the one that works best, okay? So I did a presentation for the Washington Society of Association Executives. I take my data report in the same way you would take your data report, and then I went over to the Florida Society of Association Executives, and I share them my report. And I go, hey, I did this great event with a group just like yours. We had all this great results. I'd love to do something similar for your group. Then I take my Washington Society and Florida Society, and then I share it with the Georgia Society of Association Executives. And then that's me right there. I got booked to be their keynote speaker, right? So what you want to do is when you do a student assembly, like let's say it's for a Gear Up or a leadership group or whomever, you want to then find a similar group and say, this is the data from the last assembly that I did for these students. Look what the students are saying. I'd love to bring this program to you. Let's have a conversation about it. So you use your data of a very similar group. And so you land one and then you expand into similar groups like that. So you use your data report, not just for rebooking, but for new bookings as well.
Okay, appreciate it. And then my last thing, I heard you mention earlier that y'all are going to be doing possible customizations. And so my question is, will any of it be the possible customizing the color? I know you have your branding, but possibly the color changing. So when we post the testimonials and stuff, it matches the color scheme of our own.
Yeah, so right now that's not in the initial stage of it. There's two reasons why we don't do that. The first reason is our goal is to help speakers in the same way if you see like Yelp and you see the Yelp branding and you're like, I know this is a third party. Yelp is a third party service that's verified that these reviews are good. Or if you look at Google reviews, it'll have a certain look, and or Trustpilot, which is like their green. Our goal is to make our tool be a third-party validator for speakers. Because if you use your own tool, like the reports, then you could edit things or delete things. So in the same way that people trust Yelp and trust Trustpilot and trust Google reviews, our goal is to build that branding. So that's what our vision is for it. So that's the main reason we haven't made that available yet. In the future, we are looking to be able to make that customization because we know it's a highly coveted, desired feature. So we are going to find a way to do that so that it works. But our main thing is to build that instead of viewing it as like, hey, I'm Coach B and I did this report. It's more like, here's this third party tool that I can't edit or change that's validated that everything you're seeing is real. So that's why we have it the way we do. But in the future, we are finding a way to satisfy that itch of our users and also maintain that third party validation we hope to create.
I understand it and I respect it. Thank you so much.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so much, Coach. Rick, you're going to be our last question for the day.
All right. Thanks for having these sessions. This under the Ask Anything umbrella is one of those general questions, and we've got a lot of brilliant people here. So my question, which is not Talkadot specific, is what software are folks using to process and receive payments?
Oh, great question. So are you talking about speaking engagement specifically or something else?
Yeah, for a speaking engagement, somebody wants to make a deposit to you. What's the easiest way to do that without sacrificing a big percentage fee for something up front?
So I'll tell you what I do. So in the link, you're seeing people say Stripe and Wave apps. What we do is ACH deposits. So we're basically just giving people our routing number and our bank account number. And then they're just doing an ACH direct deposit. And we don't incur a fee when they do the ACH. So the benefit of ACH is there's zero fee. There are customers who will prefer to pay on credit card. If someone does prefer to pay on credit card, then I use Stripe. So that's what I do. But in the chat, I'm seeing Bank ACH, QuickBooks. I use EFT, electronic funds transfers, whenever possible to prevent fees, or ACH. Yeah, so that's the biggest thing. So I would recommend ACH, or I still take check, to be honest with you. Like I don't know if you're like against checks in any way, but I'm like ACH, check, and then credit card is my third option. Now, out of curiosity, is there any particular problem you're hoping to solve in how you accept payments? Do you want to get them quicker? Do you want to get like deposits? Is there any particular use case that's most interesting to you?
Well, quick, of course, but avoiding Stripe fees for one, and then Venmo, dealing with having it tied up in Venmo, and then you've got to transfer it and all that stuff.
Yep. Do you do a 50% deposit? What's your deposit schedule look like?
Yeah, 50-50 basically.
Yeah, so upon signing, they have like 7 days to do a 50% deposit, and then after delivery of services, or like 2 weeks before delivery of services, you do the other 50%.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. So oh, okay, thank you, Jessica. In Canada, an ACH is called the EFT, just in case we have any Canadian massive here. Big up our friends from up north. But yeah, so that's going to be your best bet right now. Until better options get created, I would recommend, yeah, ACH,
Okay.
Stripe for now, Venmo. I don't know. I've never used Venmo for professional. I've only done Venmo for like friends and family stuff. I've never done it. I didn't know people did Venmo for professional. I've just learned something today. I've only been like, hey man, you owe me $12, and they go, I'll Venmo you. So good to know.
Cool. All right. Thanks a lot. Thanks, everybody.
Okay. Thank you, brother. Lisa, I know I said that was the last question, but your hand went up and I can't leave you hanging. So
I
go
know.
ahead.
It's like right when you were saying it, I was thinking about putting it up, and then you said it, and then I was like,
You know what it's like? It's like when the microwave's like 5, 4, 3, and then you just open the door. You're like, I ain't waiting till 1. So you just jumped in, and I say, you know what? I'm here for it. So what's up, Lisa?
I appreciate it. No, you shared a lot of great things today. I just wanted to kind of piggyback on a couple questions, or
yeah, please,
that were already answered. Just get a further clarification. So one is in relation to the emojis that we get rated on. Like, how do you choose which attributes you want to be rated on? Because I found that when I've switched it up a little bit, like say, for example, I included actionable or memorable, right? And I may have scored lower than the 90. I was in the 80s, but I scored lower than the 90s that I had gotten on previous attributes.
Yeah, so I always think about the attributes through the lens of what do I believe I can deliver? What promise do I believe I can deliver on, right? So for example, if I know that this presentation is not very actionable because I'm doing more storytelling, it's more of a keynote, it's more of like emotions, and I'm not doing a lot of practical stuff, I don't want to be rated on how practical that talk is or how actionable that talk is, because I know I'm not going to be able to deliver on that promise.
Okay.
Where if I'm doing a training, like I'm doing like a workshop, for example, and I'm diving in, I don't want to be rated on how inspiring it is, because I'm like, that's not the function of this presentation is more like, I'm going to show you how to use Canva. You're not going to be like, that was an inspirational presentation on how to use Canva, right? You're going to be like, it was practical, it was, actionable, it was relevant, that type of stuff I would care about. So I first look at this particular presentation. Am I delivering on all of these attributes? And then those are the ones that I'm choosing to measure on. And if I know I'm not going to deliver on one, I don't want to be rated on that because I know my score will be lower. So that's how I first go through it. Yeah, that's pretty much the main rubric that I use when creating my attributes.
Okay, got it. So my second question relates to how you were talking about you'd work with one executive association, and then you take those results and you share it with the next one to expand. So I spoke for a youth organization, and they specifically wanted me to talk about the importance of voting, right? Because of my political background.
Sure.
And and I got really great feedback. Like I told more of my story, and then I gave them the importance of why they should vote and gave them an example of how close an election can be based on my personal story. But I didn't go into all the practical things that you needed to do to register and all that, right? But the feedback that I got from the students was phenomenal.
Yeah.
And that they said, you know, I was one of the best speakers that the program had. So I love that.
Yeah.
So if I want to target other youth groups, but maybe it's not a talk about voting, it's just, you know, something else, can I use that same tactic?
100%. Yeah. So what I would do is say like, hey, how you doing? My name is, you know, this is just a general, right? Hi, my name is Lisa. I help students with X, right? Like, you know, take action, achieve goals, whatever is the thing that you help them with. Here's an example of the feedback that I've gotten from a previous presentation. I'd love to talk to you about bringing a presentation that would impact your audience. So you're not saying I want to bring the exact same presentation. You're using that Talkadot link. And do you know how to share your Talkadot link? The link itself? Okay, yeah. So you want to share that URL as like, this is past proof that I can do a good job. I'd love to talk to you about one of my programs. And then you want to jump on the phone with them to get a better sense of which program that you offer is actually a good fit for them versus saying, I want to replicate this exact same thing.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. May you continue to inspire more young people to do good, important things. You know, it's so funny. I remember, you know, just as a sidebar, voting is really important. I just want to throw it out there. Like, it's amazing how many people go, oh, I'm not registered to vote, or I don't vote. And I know that's not the way that we normally end this, but I just think like, if you care about something, there's two ways to change the world, in my humble opinion. Love your family and vote. Those things work really, really, really well. So love on your family and vote. And I'll just end with that. So thank you all for joining us for this Talkadot Ask Me Anything. We do these every single week. So if you have any particular question, feel free to jump on this. Also, those of you who have referred someone to Talkadot, this is very important. If you've referred someone to Talkadot, we would like to pay you for that. We are sending some of y'all emails that go, hey, tell us where you would like to send us your money. So respond to those. I am surprised at how many people are like, I know you got all this money for me, baby. You hold it. And I'm like, no, we don't want to hold it. We want you to have it. So if you do refer, for those of you who don't know, I'll just share this real quick and then we'll go, because this is something that we have to just share here. If you click on your logo and go to your homepage, you have a referral link right here. So that's your unique identifier. So all you have to do is hit copy right here to this link. Share that link with any of your speaker friends. So if you currently, I want everyone to think of at least one speaker that you know that probably isn't using Talkadot. So you can share that link with them and say, yo, I'm using Talkadot. I think it's awesome. I think the dude that looks like Shamar Moore's less successful brother, Shamar Less, he might have some stuff that might be helpful for you. The tool's been helping my business. Share that link. And then if they sign up for a Talkadot Pro account, we'll then give you $50 for every single person that you refer. But once you sign up, we've just got to know where you want that money to go. Do you want to, like, how would you like to get paid? So if we shoot you an email saying like, hey, we want to pay you, go ahead and respond to that email and let us know so we can give you that money as a little thank you for being such a rock star. So if everyone could think of at least one person that you know, but they can't be a jerk. One thing I love about our community is we have a zero jerk policy. I've not met one jerk user yet on Talkadot, and I don't want you to be the first person that brings one of our jerks in. So if you go, yo, this person's a good speaker, but they're an a-hole, no thank you, okay? But if you have good friends and they actually are good humans and they speak and they impact lives and they make a difference, those are the type of people we want on our platform. So please think of one person, send them your link, and let's see if we can get some more folks into our system. So thank you so much for using Talkadot. Thank you so much for being here. We have the best community. We have the best speakers, and I'm so grateful for every single one of you. I look forward to seeing y'all on our next AMA or our next, we have Talkadot Pros trainings. We have a community town hall that's going to be coming up to let you know about all the new features we have, just so you're not lost in the sauce. So can't wait for all of that. I'll see y'all later. Remember, if you like today's session, my name's Arel Moody. If you dislike today's session, my name is Michael Pope Jr. I'll see y'all later.